Hi everyone, today we're going to be reviewing the Survival Sundays discussion number 1. It's called Why to Prep. The subtitle says, why is it important to prep anyways? Well, the answer to this is very simple. Stuff happens. If you're new to prepping, you might already have some ideas of what prepping is. If you've only just heard of prepping, you might also have some ideas of what you think prepping and preppers are. But let me first tell you what preppers are not. Common sense preppers are not crazy, and they're not a particularly paranoid group of people. I do have to tell you guys, though, that you've probably seen that Doomsday Preppers show, and if you've seen it, you know there are some hardcore preppers out there, but that is not the type of prepping that we're talking about. We're talking about common sense and realistic prepping. Preppers are not members of an occult, and they're not hoarders. I say they're not hoarders because they actually do rotate their stock. It's an active situation. They're not just shoving it on a shelf and forgetting about everything. They know that, if they're storing food or fuel or something, water even, these things can go bad, and they have to replenish and rotate all the time. So preppers also do not wear aluminum foil hats, and no, they are not awaiting alien invasions, typically. I don't know of any that are prepping for alien invasions, but typically not. Preppers are simply people who strive to be prepared for disasters, whether they're natural or man-made. Something I really want to stress is that no one can really be 100% prepared for everything. There's just too many everythings out there. But what you can do is take steps to make sure that you and your family are safe and prepared as much as possible. If you're only just thinking about starting to prep, I really challenge you to give critical thought to this topic because, seriously, one day you and your family's lives may depend on it. And if you've already been through a disaster, if you didn't have anything prepared or any preps, you know what that was like. So now, if you start getting a little prepared, if you have to unfortunately be in that situation again, you're going to be more prepared. And you're going to know, it actually gives you a benefit because you're going to know what you need or what you need to work on. So one thing to keep in mind is there is actually short-term and long-term prepping. And there is a difference in each one of these. Short-term prepping is mainly about surviving a week or two just to get by. If your power's gone out and you need to just get through a few days. These are things that, preps that you'll need, to just get through that time. Now, there is also long-term prepping, and that is like seriously preparing for the long haul. For instance, if the power goes down, let's say pretty much everywhere for 1 month, you're going to have these preps that are going to help you sustain and get through that month. You're going to have the long-term water and food storage. You're going to have the water purification skills. If you need energy, you might need energy. You can use solar energy, wind energy, all these different things. If it's a really long time, you might have to incorporate some seed saving and survival gardening. You might need hunting, snaring, foraging. In all of these situations, one thing I cannot stress enough for you, though, is make sure you have first aid skills. Make sure you know first aid and also CPR. If you can take your skills to the next level, if you're not like in the medical field, if you can go get some basic training, that's awesome. Not only for prepping, but in the everyday world. If you're out and about and you see something, witness something, maybe you have the skills that's going to save that person's life. So I really cannot stress that part enough. Personal security. Depending on what type of disaster or situation occurs, you're going to need personal security. If your neighbor doesn't have any preps and you do, and they know, where are they coming? Sure, maybe you were best friends last week, but in a dire situation, it's going to be a different situation completely. So make sure that you do have personal security. Make sure that even if you don't like lethal choices of weapons, you do have something to protect yourself. And if you do choose weaponry, please make sure everyone knows weapon safety and security and are trained. The last thing you want is a disaster to happen and Sally whipping out a gun and doesn't know what she's doing, or little Joey grabs the pistol and doesn't know what he's doing. You know, people need these skills not only for disasters, but every day. So anyway, I'm not preaching on that. I'm just please letting you know just to be safe. Anyway, if you're out and about for whatever reason, and you don't have shelter but need it, you're also going to need shelter building skills also. We're going to look at that a little bit later, actually, because we're going to be bringing some videos or showing some videos on how to build like earth shelters and different types of shelters, basic tarp shelters. Excuse me. So anyway, in the upcoming weeks, we're going to be looking at a lot of different stuff. I did create a complete guide to all of our discussions. And so if you just click on the blog, I believe it says Discussions Guide or Survival Sundays Guide. If you click that, you'll see what we're going to be talking about each week, and that way you can follow along. So thanks for listening.